Coming up on The Weekend View.
Mandy Moore speaks out for the first time about getting caught up in Ashley Tisdale's toxic mom group drama.
Benny Blanco reveals while Selena Gomez has a gag order when it comes to their sex life.
Sounds very kinky. Plus, Jason Biggs' major weight loss and glow up. Did it play a role in the split of his 18-year marriage to Jenny Mollen? And I am going to tell you about my most embarrassing celebrity encounter. I'm still cringing over this.
Oh, I have a few as well. And it all starts now on The Weekend View.
To The Weekend View. Thank you very much. Wow, you two.
Delightful.
Okay, so here's the story. Jason Biggs and Jenny Mollen just announced they're breaking up after 18 years of marriage. That's not so nice. According to the Daily Mail, insiders claim a big factor in the split is Jason's major weight loss and glow up, which he talked about on the red carpet recently. Watch.
I had some cholesterol issues. Probably because of previously mentioned ice cream pints that I would knock back.
And how did you lose the weight?
I've lost it through a combination of diet and working out. Yeah, it's been a journey.
And how much have you lost, do you know?
40 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, 35.
So does this GLP craze going to break up marriages now? Because, you know, maybe you lost it without the drug, but the drug is out there. Everybody knows.
Everybody's on the shot.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe anything from the Daily Mail until it's independently sourced elsewhere. I'm like, I always take it with a bit of a grain of salt. But listen, these two were kind of one of those couples in Hollywood that you look to as ones that made it. They lasted the test of time. Yeah. I think it's sad to hear, but you have to imagine it's something bigger than someone got thinner and skinny.
I don't know. I do think a glow up could change the dynamics.
She's
Tell me
prettier,
exactly
though.
what a glow up is.
Yeah, but
when you get hot.
You get hot all of a sudden. I don't want Manny glowing up anymore. I want him to
The
stay
only time
just
it's
like
dangerous
that.
is when one of you is pregnant.
Thank you.
That part is really enraging.
Why do husbands
The
get
male
into
glow
work?
up.
Matt's got in his best shape while I was pregnant with Alec, and the worse I got, the better he got.
Yeah.
That rift was really hard to get past.
Yeah, my
really?
husband decided to show abs while I was pregnant. I was like, I can't see my feet. You're not allowed to have abs right now.
Yeah.
What is this?
Wow.
This guy doesn't seem to me like it was such a huge difference. Like
Well,
we've
40
seen
pounds.
Jelly
No,
Roll.
40 pounds is
Jelly
big.
Roll was a big
Yeah.
difference. But you know, so everybody's lost weight on GLPs, and my best friend has lost a ton of weight, and he's doing things now that I think he has changed, because I see him. He has bought every piece of clothing that Tom Brown makes. He's getting custom suits made.
Yeah.
He's
That is an
having, you know,
expensive habit.
And he's I'm so happy for him that he is so confident and happy with himself. But I do think that losing 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 60 pounds can change the way you feel about yourself and
course.
project.
Honestly, I have heard more from couples where one of the spouses lost a lot of weight and it improved their sex life and made them happier in their relationship. They felt more confident. So I'm
Maybe
hoping
it has improved
I
his sex
had
life just
can I
with
tell you
his
something?
wife.
Best sex of my life was fat sex. Oh,
Well, what's the difference between fat sex and skinny sex?
I only had fat
I
sex
don't
once.
know, but I loved fat sex. It was the best.
Why? What made it so great to have fat
Yeah, what's the
sex?
difference between fat sex and skinny sex?
Te digo después.
Okay.
She's not going to tell us.
She said
No,
she's going to tell me later.
Fun. I guess it was at a time in my life. I don't know.
It was pre-menopause.
You know what?
That's all.
You got a point. GLPs came during menopause.
Yeah, it
I
kills
was
your
fat
sex.
before menopause. I think you just hit on it.
Yeah, that's it. Menopause, and whether you're fat or skinny, it killed you.
Oh, fun.
Look what you have to look forward to.
Well, then you have to start working on your sex life. The martini in the afternoon.
Empty stomach.
It's like another job, like they're taking tolls on the Jersey Turnpike. We talked here about before, we talked about this before, about Ashley Tisdale claiming that she left a toxic celebrity mom group. Remember this?
Yeah.
Oh, I do remember.
For her own mental health, that was rumored to include the lovely and talented Mandy Moore. I was
Yes.
surprised to see that.
Yeah.
And for the first time, Mandy, spoke out about it on Andy Cohen's radio show. Everyone tells everything on that show.
I know.
I think the most important thing in my life is being a kind person and like that legacy of kindness. And anyone even insinuating that that might not be the case, and with the company that I choose to keep, is very upsetting. So I'd say that was the biggest takeaway, was sort of the shock of like, wow, I'm someone who is really scared by confrontation, but also when it's important, like I am a huge proponent in like having a conversation if my feelings are hurt or there's something I need to get off my
working it out,
chest.
communicating.
Absolutely. And
Face
so,
to face.
Face to face.
So how do you feel about all that? Do you like if someone's being mean to you behind your back? What do you do?
It depends how important the person is. If it's someone that doesn't mean...
A friend.
If it's a friend, I think you do confront it and you do say, you know, you didn't make me feel good and this is what I like and this is what I don't like. But if
they deny it?
If it's a surface friendship, I think you just ghost them.
I do that.
Oftentimes it's those things that
Ghosting.
reveal whether it's a real friendship. Because
Yeah.
your real friends rarely hurt you to that level because they're friends. You talk about it. And in this instance, Ashley Tisdale went public with it rather than just approaching one of the group and saying she was feeling left out.
I can't remember. How did she go public with
She
it?
wrote an essay for the
an
cut.
essay that pretty much slandered
She
everyone.
didn't name them, but it was very clear because they're in Instagram pictures together with their kids. It was very clear who she was calling out. That was my take, because I was obsessed with this story because it's a lot of like my favorite actresses of my generation, like Mandy Moore and Hilary Duff, who are notoriously some of the kindest people in the industry. So to hear them caught up in, oh, they're mean moms because Ashley Tisdale said so. And then I thought about, I'm like, no, if this was my friend group and someone felt left out, they would come to me directly. We'd resolve it like grown-ups that we are. Nobody would go on a 3,000-word screed calling everyone out or shading everyone.
Is the mean mom?
I think Ashley might be the
Well, you know what
toxic
it might
mom.
be? She might be the hurt mom. And I say that because I think people jump to anger and reaction after being in pain. It would have been easier to be vulnerable and sad and come to one of them and peel one off and say, this is how I'm feeling.
Oh,
But
just
she went
screw
to
it
that.
all. Don't talk to them anymore.
That's it. I don't
Who
think
has
it's-
time? Who has time for all of this?
I have no time for any toxicity in my life or any
Either that or the two of them should go on Andy Cohen, because if Andy Cohen can referee housewives reunions, certainly he could
He could
referee
channel
a
a
toxic
toxic
mom.
He's the king of that. It's true.
Yeah, he's great.
All right, here's another story. Record producer Benny Blanco is married to Selena Gomez, and on his Friends Keep Secrets podcast, he talked about a topic in their relationship and that they keep secrets. Watch.
Tell us about you and Selena's sex life.
I'm not allowed to talk about that publicly.
Oh, wow, she made you sign one?
No, I'm just like a gentleman. Kind of just like a thing I do. I'm like a gentleman or something. I don't know.
So, yeah, it's like,
So are they like barefoot and laying on the couch for this podcast?
whatever, you can do whatever you
We
want.
need a new set, Brian. I know. I want. Yes.
You can do whatever you want in a podcast, which is why people like to do them, I think.
I don't feel like that's keeping secrets. I think that is a sign of respect.
That's
It's
being a
an
gentleman.
intimacy thing that you
He's not talking about his sex
Oh
life.
my God, we talk about our sex life on this show all the
we're
damn
not-
time.
we're not
I did
gentlemen.
not say I was a gentleman.
Or gentle ladies.
What do you mean? We do not.
She
What do you
does.
mean we don't?
You
we just
do.
talked
She
about
just talked about fat sex.
We just talked about menopause, and you said menopause kills your sex life.
But that's
Yeah, but
not
that
you
was
say
the
that
actual.
Steve
you
killed
say that in
my
order to
sex
have
life.
sex with Steve, you got to have a martini on an empty stomach.
I didn't say anything about.
Steve,
Wait a
no,
second.
it was
I
not
did, Hold
Steve.
on.
Roll the tape.
Hold on. I did not use the name of my husband in that
Oh, okay,
conversation.
Yes,
who are you
that could have
having
been about
sex
your
with?
ex-husband.
On an empty stomach.
Maybe I'm talking about my ex-husband.
Yeah.
You don't know who I'm talking about.
Well,
I
you
think you said
weren't in
something like-
menopause when you were with your ex-husband.
You said that you were on your back more than Michelangelo.
Thank you.
That was when I was single.
She did say that part.
That
I
was
remember.
after. I was after.
But she didn't
I
name
was-
with who.
No, I don't say. I don't tell.
With
they-
Leonardo da Vinci.
martinis.
And anyway, these are jokes, okay? I was on my back more than Michelangelo. It was a joke.
It was a good joke.
By the way, though, back to the topic at hand.
I mean,
did find-
it's not a discussion about the Renaissance, okay? It's a joke.
I did find this kind of funny, though, that's their limit, is they don't really talk about their sex life, because I'm reminded one of my favorite recent Selena Gomez's songs, Sunset Boulevard, is literally all about their sex life, and he's in the music video. Yeah. Holding you naked, middle of Sunset Boulevard, making you famous, everyone's watching, bearskin concrete, feel so good it hurts, but fill you up what's broken. Like, I mean, she goes into detail. It's a pretty, it's a
because
sexy
she's
song.
singing, she gets a pass.
I think that's what it is, and because she's Selena Gomez and he gets to be married to her.
So if you
How
write
do
a
you know
song,
she's talking about him?
He's
well,
in the
who else
music
is she
video.
doing that?
It's like,
her
it's
husband.
them.
In the video?
Yeah.
Well, you know, these guys have to sign an NDA, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, because these women are treacherous. See, in the old days, I'm going back now to like even before I was born, there were songs that had sexual innuendo.
Yes.
You know, like Cole Porter, because baby, if I'm the bottom, you're the top. Hello.
Was he
Hello.
gay?
Yes, he was. And so
okay.
that
Good for him.
song had sexual innuendo. This guy remembers it. He's my
Oh, God,
age.
don't point at him, please.
Who is that?
That's like one of my best friend's fathers, and I'm having a hard time doing this show at all right now.
Wait, he knows about Cole. You know about Cole Porter, right? You know
No,
Cole
he knows
Porter.
about bottoms and tops.
No, he does not.
We'll be right back.
The Weekend View is sponsored by Rock Skincare, clinically proven and dermatologist recommended.
On the season finale of the hit series Summer House, Ciara does not hold back on telling her friend Kyle that one of the biggest problems in his marriage is him. Friend telling friend. Take a look.
I don't even know how to explain where I'm coming from anymore because
You don't know how to express yourself.
when your life is literally feeling like it's being blown apart at the seams, you're not
Okay.
gonna react well.
Your words do hold weight. And like a lot of people get caught in your crossfire, i.e. Carl, of like what you're actually mad about. And like it makes it hard to be your friend. I'm not saying it from a place of judgment, but it is concerning. Because at the end of the day, everyone's trying to support you guys. And we want you to be happy. We don't know if that's together or apart, but either way, we want you to be happy. No one's rooting for you guys to get divorced.
Now, okay, Sarah says, first of all, get rid of the coat.
No one's rooting for that coat.
But the show is called Summer House?
Yeah.
And why are they in snow parkas and fur coats?
Après ski. It's end of season. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a ski-themed party in
Yes.
summer.
Okay.
So, so this is a person who's telling somebody, you know, getting in the middle of their relationship as a friend. Would you do it? I wouldn't.
That was just not my takeaway from Summer House last night, to be honest, and I won't walk you guys through all of it.
Forget about the show. Just tell me what you would do.
But that's the interesting part. No one cares what I would do.
Yes, they do.
Oh, if it's a close friend, you absolutely tell them directly, hey, he's not treating you right. I don't think this is healthy for you. If it's a social friend, I think you don't dabble in people's marriages. But if it's like a sister, a best friend,
Right.
you
But
absolutely
what
have
if
a
you
duty.
dabble in the marriage and they stay together?
You have to be
Then
willing
you,
to
then
take
you
that
break
risk.
up.
That's right.
But if you
friendship.
handle it like Sierra did, that clip is actually really thoughtful because she's really close with his ex, the woman. And I thought she handled that so classy. She said, you know, I wouldn't be here if I didn't care about you too. And she was trying to be an intermediary. When things get so toxic in a couple, I would do it for a good friend, especially if you're friends with both.
No.
Well, now knowing
you know what? If you need an intermediary, go see a therapist.
Yeah.
I think my friend is there to support me. I can tell my friends, they can tell me about their challenges, their relationship issues, the highs, the lows. But don't go tell my husband what I told you. Don't go be a
Well,
referee.
he had said, he told her in front of people, he had said like a bad word, like blank off.
Another
Can I say
element,
blank off?
Yeah.
Another element of this too is a lot of our closest friends are very close. Like my best friend's husband is a close friend of mine. He's a close friend of my husband's. When you're really like your kids are going to be raised together, I could see how it's like you're invested in the family unit and in both sides. So I don't think it can be like, oh, I only care about your well-being, not just
But
his,
then if
and
you
vice
meddle
versa.
and they stay together,
Then it's dicey. You
don't have a friend group
But she
anymore.
by the end of that scene, she gets him to recognize why he needs to go to apologize to her friend.
But
because she had
then-
said something. Well,
But then her friend starts sleeping with her ex and blows up the whole
and
thing.
that's-
There you
because
go.
she's garbage.
No more friend group.
true.
My
true.
God, these people are so young and they have so much relationship drama.
That's
We're not
why they
that
were
young.
cast.
That's
But that's when you have it, when you're young.
when you're young.
When you
That's
get
when
older,
have it.
you don't have it as much.
We don't have the energy for it.
Regular-looking people with good marriages don't make good TV.
Correct.
Supermodel Brooks Nader and her sisters were asked to take part in an Arctic excursion for a first-of-its-kind study of how women's health is impacted by extreme conditions. ABC News looked at some of the essentials they brought with them. Watch the clip.
This is not like our normal life.
The only thing Brooks brought was a tin of caviar and her pack of Ozempic that she stuck in the ground.
Yes,
I'm sorry, and she was so worried about that the whole time. She's like, "Where's my O?"
Keep it cold. The O and the caviar.
I was like, "I don't think you need Ozempic. We don't have food." By the way, like we don't.
It was only in case we had to eat each other, and I just wanted to stop myself.
What would you, if you had to go on an Arctic excursion, what's the thing you might bring? You know, I'm going to Paris very soon. I'm not bringing anything that's...
That is not an Arctic excursion. How do you go from Arctic excursion to
What
Paris?
if it's cold there?
Wow.
What do you bring?
You're going to really be up against the elements there.
Well,
You're so brave, Joy.
You bring champagne.
No, you get the champagne there, you bring nothing. You bring an empty suitcase to shop.
Well, in Paris, but no, in an Arctic place. I mean,
Twizzlers.
You bring your
Can't find
champagne.
those there.
You bring your caviar. You bring
Caviar? You can only afford one little tin. How long is that
you
gonna last
you bring that. I'm assuming everybody's bringing their own stuff. You bring some nice Bellinis, and you bring a nice warm
That's
coat.
not my friend group.
Anna,
Something
we would
like
bring
that.
Ozempic.
She had her
I
Ozempic.
think, in an Arctic excursion like that, when you're alone in the middle of the...
I went real basic and went with moisturizer and a nice coat.
You never said what you were bringing.
Nothing. I'm not going. We'll be right back.
The Weekend View is sponsored by Rock Skincare, clinically proven and dermatologist recommended.
Kick off your Hot Topic summer with our Memorial Day sale. Get 15% off View merchandise site-wide, including cool new tees in pastel colors. Scan the code on your screen and use the discount code LONGWEEKEND from now through Monday.
So Anna was recently on the Webby Award-winning Behind the Table podcast and told Brian about a celebrity encounter she'd love to forget. Watch.
You and I were at the Disney upfronts. We had a couple of early incidents that happened.
You failed me completely.
I was talking to Tiffany Amber Thiessen, and you needed me.
I don't know who that is. So there's this. So I see across the room, I see Sebastián Yatra, who I am incredibly excited about. And I'm like, oh my God, Sebastián Yatra is here. I actually think he is. He's got the most marvelous voice. Do you know who Sebastián Yatra is?
Not a clue.
Okay, Sebastián Yatra is this extraordinary Colombian singer. He was nominated for an Oscar for his song En Encanto, and he fills up stadiums all over Latin America and in the U.S.
Mm-hmm. So you see him in the room and you go up to him.
I see him up in the room and I go up to him. I'm like, Sebastián, ¿qué tú haces aquí? ¿Qué estás haciendo con Disney? You know, Sebastián, what are you doing with Disney? ¿Qué estás haciendo? I mean, he was in Encanto, so there's a... And this guy's looking at me like I'm on drugs.
Because it was not, in fact.
Sebastián Yatra.
It was, in fact.
Whatever his name is, from the Game of Thrones, who played Jon Snow.
It was Kit Harington, the King in the North.
Okay, but
now you've said
in fairness, he's apparently lost a lot of weight.
He did look different to me.
And he looked exactly like Sebastián Yatra.
Did you watch Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know nothing, Anna Navarro.
Oh my God. They look
King of the North?
No, they
Have you
look,
no respect?
No, they look alike.
They do.
It doesn't
Well,
matter.
he has lost. I feel like he's lost a lot of weight. Jon Snow has lost a lot of weight.
One at a time.
When you say to someone, what are you doing for Disney? Why are you here? Just think about that before you ask, because he's not there and he's not working with Disney.
Well, actually, what do you mean?
Encanto's a Disney movie. That's a couple years old. Upfronts is a new show.
Maybe he's working on something. I got to tell you,
that is Kit Harington
I'm with
through
you
and
on
through.
that. They look exactly
Okay,
alike to me.
you guys clearly do not love Game of Thrones as much as we do. That is my favorite actor. He's also amazing in industry.
They
but
look
that is
exactly
literally
the same
Jon Snow, the
person.
King
I
of
am
the
so
North.
glad I was not next to you at that
Well,
moment.
wait, though. Brian.
Don't they look exactly alike?
Brian,
I was
who's like
stalking
who's always chasing, knows every celebrity out there, was confused as to who the guy was as well.
Actually, so Alyssa and I saw him earlier in that day.
And I confirmed
I wanted
him.
to talk to him, but I was afraid it wasn't him. I didn't think he was.
Because you asked me
I did.
who it was, and I said I didn't know.
I will
We weren't
say
sure.
he does seem a little... I said to you, that is Kit Harington, and I would put all 3 of my kids on that. And you said, whoa, we're going there?
You bet your kids, Sarah?
Yeah, and I was right. I did not think it was Sebastian.
You were flirting with the Savannah Bananas.
I didn't know
He and Whoopi were talking it up, and I want to know what they were chatting about. I kept
Colombian,
trying to
not
insert
French.
myself.
It's not Sebastian. It's Sebastian.
I didn't know who that was.
So Kit Harington's in a great new Hulu show that I cannot wait
Yes,
for,
it
and I'm
looks
hoping
so
we
good.
could book him and make Anna relive this
No, I don't want to be there.
Anna can lead the whole interview in Spanish.
But then,
See how much he understands.
by the way, it got worse because then
said more?
No, Brian is lurking about in a after party, and he wants to meet this guy who is on this Marvel.
Yeah, it was Tom Hiddleston, who's a gigantic star.
So I don't know who this Tom Hiddleston is, and apparently he's a huge star.
He
and
is. He's
and there's 2 guys. There's 2 guys. Well,
Loki.
listen to this. There's 2 guys speaking to each other. And Brian's dying to meet this guy. So I go up to the 2 guys and say, look, I don't know which of you is the guy in Marvel, but here's Brian who wants to meet you.
Which was humiliating,
I'm
by
a
the way.
better
I did
wing
not want
woman.
you to do that. But
Oh, no.
Yeah, but then you got to meet the guy.
I know, and then the entire conversation was about how you didn't know who he was and you'd never seen a Marvel movie in your entire life. And then it turns out the guy he was talking to was the head of marketing for Disney movies.
Oh my God.
Anna's brought
yeah.
along to keep everyone grounded.
Yes.
We should also book Tom Hiddleston.
I asked him to come on. He said he will.
No,
Dated
I
Taylor
asked him
Swift.
to come on. You were just starstruck.
And then, hold on. And then, not only did you ask him to come on, you invited him to come see Bad Bunny with you in London. And then his reaction was, oh, my wife and I would love that. And then you said, I'm not hitting on you. I don't even know who you are.
You said that?
Yes.
The whole thing is true.
Okay, who else has a cringy celeb story that we
Nothing that can live up to
No.
Anna's.
Nope.
Yeah, I've had a couple. I sang for Dolly Parton once. I tap danced for Kristen Chenoweth without tap shoes.
Why would you sing for Dolly Parton?
I don't
Wasn't it on
know.
the
Y'all
air?
wondered at the
Didn't we
moment.
see it?
They ended up
Yeah.
airing it. It wasn't supposed to be on the air. But I also called Tyra Banks Tira. And then I told her that's how we pronounce it in Iowa.
Oh my God.
That's really bad.
What a little liar you are. What a little liar.
No, but well, this was before.
Was that like a spur of the moment?
Yes, because when you use Iowa as an explanation, everyone's like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry."
Really?
So every
And
friggin' time
you catch Tyra Banks on a bad day, she will disembowel you.
She was actually so lovely. It was her and like a makeup person, and it was when I worked the green room at the Today Show, and I went in and I said, "Tira, this," and I see her person like kind of giggling, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say something?" She goes, "The makeup person said it's Tyra."
The supermodel Tyra.
Yes. And then I said, "Well, in Iowa we say Tira." I don't know why that came up.
What a rap. That's a new one. The Iowa rap.
You can use it. Everyone can use it.
Joy, you had a Steven Spielberg
No, yeah,
encounter.
well, I was at a dinner with Steven Spielberg, and I said, "Nice to meet you," and he said, "I've been on your show." I was a little humiliated because to Steven Spielberg, you should remember.
You should always just say nice to see you to everyone.
I know. Well, that's when I learned that. I did a job one time, and I got up and I spoke and everything, and I heard people say, "How could they afford to have Bette Midler here?"
They're like, they couldn't. They got Joy Behar. You're
Cheaper version. Behind the Table streams wherever you get your podcast, or you can watch us on YouTube. Have a great day, everyone. Take a little time to enjoy
The Weekend View.